Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. I'm your host, Quan59. Got my man, Death Star Dave, in the building. What's good?
Man, it looks like a hockey game in Winnipeg here today.
Whiteout in the studio. This wasn't planned. But we do have
God's
Mr. GOT, Game of Todd, in the building. What's good?
What's up? I like that nickname better than other ones in the past.
You don't like Terrible Todd Levy?
Lucha Levy?
Lucha Levy's pretty fun.
I love that one.
What's wrong with Terrible Todd Levy, though?
I just feel
I
like
like that one.
it's kind of negative.
Is it?
I'm like a positive guy, so.
Oh, wow.
Turn your phones down.
Phones are down.
Phones are down. Listen, man, we have a lot of sports to talk about. Tiger Woods is making golf great again, so we're going to talk about that. We have a lot of NHL, NBA playoffs, NBA hockey, NBA playoffs, hockey playoffs, Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to talk about that. I'm kind of nighted out on my end in my camera. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit.
You are nighted out. Night up, actually.
Night up. Yeah, so I was watching Game of Thrones like Vegas Golden Knights. That's the same thing, right?
Pretty much.
But you guys are like diehards with Game of Thrones.
I would consider myself a pretty big fan. I know Dave
Since day
is.
one.
We've never watched a show
he's talking about
together,
Game of
but we do
Thrones.
talk about it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
an OG with that.
You guys have never watched it together.
Nope.
So you missed Todd's Game of Thrones party last night.
Yeah.
I did.
I got invited, and then when they found out I wasn't catching up, I got uninvited.
Actually, he didn't get the invite, I don't think.
Wow. See, I didn't even get the invite. I got the verbal invite on Super Bowl. No, yeah, Super Bowl.
No, you probably got
No,
the verbal,
UFC,
like,
the last
hey,
UFC.
maybe you should catch up on the show before the final season.
I've been telling him for the last year you could catch
2
up.
years. Yeah.
You
yeah,
can
it's been a year and a
ca-
half since an episode.
You can still catch up. So I was doing the math. There's 5 more episodes of Game of Thrones before the finale.
All right.
no, 5 more is the finale.
It's 5 more, so that's 5 weeks, right, from yesterday. So that's times 7 days is about 35 days, minus today, 34. And there's roughly about 70 episodes, right? So if you watch like 2 episodes a day from now, you'll be caught up by the finale Sunday.
Mix in an
That's
extra one here and
doable.
there.
That's doable.
You could do it.
Yeah,
You can
especially on
mix
the
in an extra here and
weekends.
there.
Yeah, like anyone who wants to watch it, you can still get in. It's not too late. You don't want to be the person who doesn't know what's going on. But
Or
maybe
you can
could.
wait till the whole series is over and then
then
binge watch it however you want.
You could do that too.
Which that might be the most logical thing that I'm going to do.
Pretty logical.
I don't know. Because I'm still watching like all the Marvel movies in chronological order.
Okay.
I know Cream doesn't want to hear that. Neither does Dave.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
There's a difference between chronological order and what he's doing. You're doing it in the order of like
The
the
release
time
date?
period.
And
No,
that's
he's
what-
doing the time period.
Time period is chronological. That's
No,
what that means.
but when the movie's released is chronological.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
Chronological is time period.
I agree. But like
But then, like, you have scenes in Thor that
Thor,
are
like, go back
thousands
2,000
of
years, exactly.
So you have to watch like both the Thors first, even though.
What are you talking about? Scenes in that? Those are
But you
flashbacks in a movie.
Or you have Captain America, where you have like the end credit scene is also like
in
right at
in
the beginning
40s,
of Avengers,
right? Oh yeah. That's
So
true.
it's like you can't really do it that specific way. Plus,
Or you can,
it
and I'm doing it
spoils
like that.
things depending on like when you watch.
I mean, I've already seen them all though, so I'm trying to do it
Yeah.
chronologically.
Listen, you do what makes you happy.
Because we're weeks away. We're 10 days away actually from Endgame.
It's pretty big.
Are you going?
When you guys were buying all the tickets, I didn't get a text message. I guess that's something to do with not being invited to the Game of Thrones party.
That's okay. I'll be.
I'm gonna see it on Saturday
solo.
or Sunday, I think.
It's too late.
I'm
See
not
you
sure
Friday.
on my-
I'll
Friday
just
morning.
stay off the internet till then.
I don't know if you could do that. You work for social media.
We'll see.
All right. Listen, spoiler alerts are going to be out that night, so don't spoil it for people. Don't spoil anything for people. I saw people already spoiling Game of Thrones for people that said I can't watch it till tomorrow, but especially with movies. And then the Star Wars trailer came out. What was it? The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
What do you guys think about the name? What do you guys think about the teaser? Are you hyped up?
I mean, if it's gonna be the last of 9 movies in the Skywalker saga, why would it? I don't know why it's called Rise of Skywalker.
Well,
And
I'm sure the movie will address that.
I know. I just.
Are you confused?
A little-
Maybe it's not really.
Well, or maybe like it's not really Jedi's anymore. Maybe Skywalker stuff will be considered. I don't know. I don't like to make too many theories, because when you make too many theories,
Yeah.
you get disappointed if the way you thought of it isn't the way it is.
Yeah. I don't know if
Are you guys hyped up for it?
Nah. I'm more hyped for the Skywalker Star Wars movies to end, and we get like new content within the universe.
Okay.
Like the one the Game of Thrones guys are making,
That'd be fun.
and Ryan Johnson's making his
Yeah.
own separate one too. They got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Disney's starting its own network, so I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Star Wars TV shows.
Well, evidently a lot of Star Wars and a lot of Marvel. They got a bunch of Marvel
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, they're
going
gonna
on
pull
there.
it all off of Netflix and other
except,
channels.
except
right?
for now. Well, those are just gone, and now they're doing stuff with actual movie characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And giving them shows that actually affect the movies going forward, supposedly.
Interesting way to do it.
And they kind of released the logo for Falcon and
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
When is that coming out? The Disney Network.
November.
Yeah.
November.
I was gonna say the holidays.
So get excited for that. But listen, enough movies, enough pop culture. We're not nerdy enough to speak on that too long. But we do have sports to talk about, and I want to jump into the NHL playoffs first. Todd, have you been watching?
Yes.
Your Rangers aren't in it,
I know.
but your Islanders are.
I'm not really an Islanders
Okay.
fan, but I'm more of a Golden Knights fan now.
Okay. Don't tell Josh that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to go to the city you grew up in and be a fan of it. I mean, you are allowed to be a fan of a team that you never lived in, and then go back to the team that you was in your city. But you're not allowed to be a fan.
I mean, growing
when
up-
when your city has never had a professional
Yeah.
team, you're not allowed to go to them.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to be a fan of the '90s Bulls, that was one of the biggest bandwagon teams in the history of the
Ever.
earth.
Oh,
That started the bandwagon.
I agree.
Well, Lakers always had a pretty big bandwagon too. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
They did.
I don't know about that.
I do. You can go anywhere on earth and find Laker fans.
True.
Yeah.
Todd, what do you think? NHL hockey playoffs. Tampa Bay is down 3-0 in their series, so they.
But is it because
had the best record.
The Blue Jackets are playing better than them, or is it just the way they reorganized the playoff seeding that they got like a tough first round matchup?
I mean, Columbus is really good.
But Columbus got rolled by them in the regular season. I mean, nobody likes this playoff seeding
I
thing.
know.
No one does.
I know it's a test, maybe for a few years, and they go back to it.
I have yet to find a person that
That's
likes
like
it.
fighting for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Columbus fans going in didn't like it because
They're playing.
Tampa played super well going in, but that team's playing out of their minds. I don't think, no matter what point they met them in the playoffs, Columbus would not have been favored. But
It's true.
hockey playoffs, man, you just never know.
You never know. I mean, it's nice that the Golden Knights got home ice advantage back, and it'd be great if they can go up go up another game here in Vegas, go 3-1. But yeah, you never know. It can
Well,
go
what
back.
do you think? I mean, going back, let's stick to the Tampa series. Is this a case of Tampa putting in so much effort to get this crazy great record? Or is it just the case? I mean, it's playoff hockey. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
1 or 2 goals difference, you know. And you know, I watched pretty much all yesterday's game. These are 2 fast teams. I mean, they were both going at it. There was like nonstop action the whole time. But you know, Columbus won it at home.
I think it almost goes back to that first game when Tampa just jumped down their throats to start, and they just let up, and then they have not recovered since. They had that shocking comeback on them, and ever since then, they've just Columbus has been the better team.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just get those matchups where the regular season doesn't matter and the playoffs is a different beast. Especially, you know,
And in hockey,
everyone
they
always says
say that like
right?
not many teams with the best record, you know, win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Well, I think you also find that as good as Tampa Bay was in the regular season, no one was afraid of them. It's not like they were out there crushing everybody every night. Like some of those old Red Wings teams, especially like when they put that team that was, even though a lot of them were older, it was like, I don't remember how many Hall of Famers, stuff like that. People, you didn't want to see those teams because you just knew how loaded they were. In this day and age, a lot of these guys are young and they just know, I get in the playoffs, my goalie plays well enough.
Yeah.
I've got a shot against anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Tampa Bay scored a lot of goals, but they gave up a lot of goals too this year. So when the playoffs do hit, obviously everything tightens up a lot more. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, we could see Tampa Bay out in the first round getting swept.
Yeah.
And last year they had the best record too, correct? Yeah. And they, you know, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And that would really open things up, I feel like, in that conference. So, like, anything can happen. All the other teams are cheering for it. I know that. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, they're still a team that if they're playing at their best, you'd rather not see them. So you'd rather see Columbus. So I think everybody's pulling that direction.
Yeah. All right, now going to Washington's up 2-0 on Carolina. That series is still been good. Both those games were pretty good, but you know, Washington looks like they're in playoff mode. They look ready.
Yeah. They're defending and they're going. They're
exactly
making their statements. Yeah.
You know, home ice and all that. So they're playing in Carolina tonight. It actually starts anytime now. That's why just in time Josh is not going to be here because he's watching the game.
Yeah,
Good
he's
for
got to watch
him.
Capitals.
Which
He
is fine.
said that months
Listen,
ago.
we accept that.
He's like, when it's playoff hockey, I probably won't be here.
yeah, that's fine.
So I can come and fill in.
He'd just be showing up now anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, Project Neon is still.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Project
a
Neon.
real thing.
And then, you know, who do we want to talk about? The Vegas Golden Knights.
I mean, I think everyone wants to talk
Great game
about it.
last night. You didn't watch it because you're watching Game of Thrones.
I watched once Game of Thrones was over. I put it on. Yeah.
What time was Game of Thrones on?
Well, I watched the
6?
East Coast feed, so yeah.
Okay.
Well, so if you watched it on the app, you actually could have gotten it earlier in the day. They had a mess up there for a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Wow. That would have messed up his party, though.
No big deal.
Yeah,
I
but once they found out, they cut it off. So some
I'm
people
sure.
caught it early.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
there wasn't like streaming issues, to be honest, with how many tens of millions of people watching the same thing at the same
Well,
time.
I mean, with all the power of AT&T and DirecTV and HBO, they had it figured out.
Yeah. That's like in every meeting we talk about, hey, when this premieres, what do we have to do to scale up all our systems
Yeah,
to
basically,
make sure?
like, you know what happens to WWE every WrestleMania? That's not happening for the premiere of Game of Thrones.
Do they have glitches every time?
Every time, it's just it's
sad.
just it's
Is
by
that-
far the
is
most
that why
wait.
Is that
every
why
year.
they start 4 hours early now? Just to make
Well,
sure?
no, that's just because I mean, you have these gigantic rosters, and then with the pre-shows, you have a 7.5 hour WrestleMania.
So crazy.
You have a work day of WrestleMania.
It's crazy.
That's wild. It's way too much. But yeah, I mean, Golden Knights, they're up 2-1. They played horrible in their first game. I knew they would bounce back. I just have not been scared of the Sharks at all. That we played one of our worst games of the season, barely lost, and now we, you know, came back up 2-0 last night. Played an amazing game. Their goaltenders are just not very good. So, you know, the first game, I think we had 10 shots in the first 2 periods. And I was upset because I knew these goaltenders aren't good enough, so just keep shooting at them, you know? And I think that's what we saw the last 2 games, especially last night, just attack them early. Like, just keep getting shots off. You're eventually gonna score enough goals on them to,
scoring in the
win
first
it.
minute of each period was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, so we scored the first period 16 seconds in, the second period I think 24 seconds in, third period 36 seconds
It's
in.
amazing.
So I mean, to start off
crazy.
periods like that, it's hard for any team.
And it's crazy because that
To
totally
win.
messes up like the Sharks' game plan going in, right? Like before the game, they're like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do," and then you get a goal on you so early, within seconds, right? You go to get out of the first intermission, you
Yeah.
get to the second period again, right? And
Yeah, because you're in the locker room
It's just-
talking about that,
talking
like
about it.
what we have to do going
we
back
can't let
out.
that happen again. Boom.
Exactly.
Can't let that happen again. Boom. And it's just
Yep.
the momentum is crazy. I feel like the Golden Knights are in a good spot right now.
Yeah, we got
they're-
another home game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Game 4 tomorrow. So we could possibly go up 3-1. Don't take them lightly. Sharks are still good. They
Yep.
have a lot of hitters.
They'll be coming out chippy too.
They will. And we saw finally the
Fight.
end of that game. Ryan Reeves and Kane finally fought each other. They've been going at it for a long time, and they finally fought each other. It was great. I love seeing that. And Kane ended up on the bottom, so I think Reeves won that fight.
Oh yeah, Reeves won that fight
Yeah.
Definitely.
on all the scorecards. That was a unanimous decision.
Definitely. That
So-
was beautiful to see.
So last year they matched up, right? And it went second round, and it went 6 games.
Yep. Which it shouldn't have.
But I feel like it's going to go 6 again.
It could.
It's a good possibility.
Could, yeah.
Are you guys scared of it, or
I'm really not worried about. I haven't been worried about the Sharks at all. I've watched, like we lost one game this year against them in the regular season, and then one overtime loss to them. But the 2 games we won, we killed them. I know it's only preseason, so it doesn't matter. But we played the very last preseason game, so both teams have their full
ready to
squad,
go, yeah.
and we killed them in that game too. We handled them in the playoffs last year, even though we went 6 games. One of those games really, that overtime game, I think it was, that they called goaltender interference.
I remember
It
that
really
one,
wasn't.
yeah.
Like it was kind of a mess. It's like, okay, that could have went either way. And then the way we dominated them in one of those games, like I feel like we've dominated the Sharks since we've been in the league.
I mean,
hope,
it's 2
hope
years.
it continues.
Yeah.
I mean, game 4 is huge, right? Because it's either going to be the Golden Knights are going to be up 3-1, or it's going to be 2-2, and it's a whole new best out of 3. Then,
Definitely.
so
Yeah.
this is a huge swing game, and I just don't want them to be complacent and
They need to just come out the way
squander
they
home
came out
ice
yesterday.
now that we have it,
Yeah.
So they have to come out ready and play hard and take advantage of this home crowd. It was like I wasn't at the game. I have a couple friends there. They were sharing some
Yeah.
videos. It was like look electric
looked
in
crazy.
there. It looked awesome. So
And even the players that hadn't played there last year, Stone, Pacioretty, they were saying like it's like the home crowd is already amazing, and then the playoff home crowd, they couldn't believe like the difference
yeah.
in electricity in the building, and they're saying it's it's by far the best place to play in right now. So the fact that Vegas is one of those like people want to come here now, and there's even rumors, and especially with the Sharks, like
Unlike the Lakers.
with the Sharks maybe going out of the playoffs in the first round, there's rumors that Erik Karlsson wants to play here because him and Stone were in Ottawa together. They're really good friends. Rumors that Erik Karlsson would even take less money to come here.
That's awesome.
That would be necessary because
It'd have to be. We
salary
can't-
cap ramifications
Yeah.
are starting to get.
But that Stone acquisition,
Serious.
like people were not questioning it, but like how's it going to pan out? And it's a hat trick last game, and it's like
6 goals
I
in
mean,
3 games.
Yeah, it's like the didividends are already paying
Well,
off.
if he helps add Carlson, that would be the biggest. That would be the best
Exactly.
thing of that whole acquisition.
Getting a defenseman like that
A high level defenseman, which is their biggest need.
by far. So yeah, if we could pull that off, that would be amazing. But yeah, so the top 3 point leaders in the NHL playoffs so far are all Golden Knights.
Well, a lot of it's that second
pretty
line. That
crazy.
second line has been
Yeah.
unstoppable.
The second line, which is actually starting, which is funny because they came out yesterday in the beginning. But that's really our first line. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. Obviously, I got Knights gear all over the place, but
I couldn't tell.
couldn't tell. Yeah. Man, it's like quiet in here with no black people on the show, guys. You guys really got to help out.
Don't worry.
Come on, Todd.
Somebody will say something. I'll get me all set off.
Say something about what?
Anything.
No, it's just quiet. It's usually we have too many people talking now. Nobody's talking.
I can talk about stuff.
Good job, Todd. Way to liven it up. I can talk about.
We can talk about Zion, or if we're still talking about.
No, we're done with hockey. You guys look bored with hockey.
No, I'm good.
You guys look bored to death with hockey.
No, I'm good.
Did the leagues
Mets
okay with the Tampa Bay going out early and?
I don't think they care.
What about Pittsburgh on the brink of elimination?
I think the thing is with the NHL, they've reached this point where they're just so reliant on it being hockey fans that are watching. Hockey
doesn't
fans
matter?
are going to watch whoever.
Not the team, the team fans.
Nope. I don't think they care because they know the hockey fans are going to watch playoff hockey. And what you see now, they're not market dependent because realistically, the only things that really ever goose ratings for them are like original 6 teams. If original 6 teams get there, then everybody pays more attention.
Got it.
But now it's like if you ask an average person, I mean, if Las Vegas wasn't a hockey city, to name some of these teams out there, you think they would know the Nashville Predators? You think they would know the Carolina Hurricanes?
No. The funny thing is, I always
Columbus
forget the Blue Jackets, like when I'm listing teams and stuff, and you just.
But it's in weird places and in a lot of places where they go super diehard because that's what they have. In San Jose, it's like everybody's Sharks fans. There's no debate about it. Yeah. It's a different league, and the way they run it almost makes it hard to get into unless your city gets a team. Yeah. Basically. Because they're not really out there courting new fans because they're kind of like, well, if you're not interested in coming and finding us and learning everything about the game, we're really not interested in you. So it's
well,
tough.
We know
that way too.
You know when they had that year off and they lost the ESPN deal and all that hurt them a lot as far as like getting that
of course
big exposure. Now NBC, I don't think they've done a great job of really, their cable network, sports network isn't great. It's hard to find. But if they, who knows what happens if, they keep, because they are getting bigger. And maybe that's just me having a team now, so maybe it feels like it's getting more popular. But
it's somewhat, but I think a lot of it is just the more people you get hockey in front of, the more people like hockey. The problem for years was, now with ESPN Plus, you have more people with access to hockey. Locally, of course, it's a big thing, but I think you're getting more people watching. Even on a paid service like ESPN Plus, which hasn't taken off yet, you probably have more people watching on that than on the NBC feeds.
And speaking of the ESPN Plus, we talked about the Disney Plus. They're all supposed to merge. So I think it's going to be like one huge like Disney, or maybe not all merge, but you could buy a package where you have that Hulu,
Disney,
ESPN Plus, and all that. So.
It wouldn't shock me because when you start going forward, I think the future of these rights deals are streaming things because realistically, if Apple or Amazon decides, we're just going to be the place that you come to for the NBA, that's a wrap. No network can pay the money they can pay.
Yeah.
No traditional media outlet can put together.
If we're talking about
sports,
sports is a little different than like other kind of shows, I feel,
But you've also seen Amazon's already dipping the toe in that water with Thursday Night Football. Mm-hmm. They're already kind of making themselves, they're getting out there to see what it's doing for them. So they're just analyzing tons of data.
Yeah, I think they're bidding on like some like smaller like secondary market sports networks too.
Well, and it's funny, everybody cut the cord per se. The past 5 or 6 years because they didn't want to pay their
cable.
They didn't want to pay their $90 cable bill or $150 cable
now
bill
you
every
need
month.
6 services.
But now, exactly, like you're still paying close to the same amount with all the streaming services that we're using.
It's just a different way to market it. I think eventually it's going to be.
The cool thing is you can cut things as you want. Like I can cut the obviously NBA League Pass because we don't need it anymore. So
just the idea of networks, I feel, is going to be outdated, and I could be wrong and people could argue whatever, but I think eventually you're going to get like a big show and people could just like you want to listen to a certain song by a certain artist, you can download it. It's just going to be direct to consumer and I'll be able to watch a show. There doesn't need to be a network attached to it because with streaming it kind of eliminates the need for channels and things like that.
It's getting closer and closer to that anyway because you have the Netflix model where Netflix is really trying to get away from anybody else's product. And then on top of that, you're gonna start seeing sports on these things. Like Hulu's thing is now that they show live sports. So they keep trying to tell people it's like you can get Hulu and watch live sports. So you don't have to have cable. You can come to us. Now, granted, I researched that. It's not really a savings. Believe me, because if you really want to come down to all the things you really need to have with it, you're not really. You're not at this point saving money, but it's you might think you are.
The two great things about Hulu besides sports are The Handmaid's Tale, if you haven't seen it, and they have South Park episodes that are uncensored, and it's amazing. It's the way it should be. And without commercials.
Man, this really is a white show.
Sorry,
it's fine. Hey.
But no, I'm just saying overall, those are really, because they have the most money, those are really the future when it comes to this stuff. And you have to wonder, like with Disney, how much more they're going to put into a lot more things are going to start going streaming. A lot of it too is just all your providers get held hostage by somebody.
Yeah.
Like if you have Dish Network, you can't get HBO. So they have to tell you how to. They're doing their own instructional things to get you to HBO now, so you won't take away their service, and so you're still paying AT&T, which owns DirecTV.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy landscape. I find a lot of that stuff fascinating, just because, realistically, just talking about HBO, like Game of Thrones is probably the last. It's probably the last public show. It's the last show you're going to know where, granted, no show everyone watches.
What do you mean public?
The most people will watch it. Like you can ask a lot of people, and even if they don't watch it all the time, they know about it. A lot of the big hits for like Netflix, it's so like niche. It's
so niche.
It's crazy.
I agree.
Their algorithms take it to like, listen, we're making this show because we know that 14-year-olds are going to watch this show.
Like 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Guilty.
Wow.
But I'm just saying that
this show gets wider by the minute.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's the last. It's might be the last show.
That's like universally
broad
revered by
mass appeal.
I don't know. I mean,
and international appeal.
I
too.
mean, Amazon's starting production of their Lord of the Rings show. I know I'm thinking the same kind of fantasy world.
But then again, Amazon,
and Lord of the Rings has a huge following.
It does have a huge
following. And Amazon
following,
has huge reach.
But Amazon
people
has
will subscribe to Amazon Prime just to watch that show.
That's true.
If it's good.
Amazon still does not have people watching it like they watch HBO.
No.
HBO spent a lot of years making content, so people trust them a lot
decades.
more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, then HBO had boxing that you could watch on there before this
Not
year.
anymore. Once again, that's another thing that went streaming.
Yeah,
like
they did.
DAZN.
Yep.
That I thought it was DAZN for a while. I couldn't figure out why it was that.
I didn't know that either.
Now it's DAZN.
Yeah.
That's really what. But they have.
But
Triple
then
G.
ESPN has all of top rank now.
They have all of Top Rank, and they have UFC.
Yeah.
And you have to get you're soon going to have to get UFC pay-per-views through ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So you'll have to subscribe to ESPN Plus to get to the pay-per-views. Now, Zone is different because it's just your monthly feed, no pay-per-views, and that's the only way you can see Canelo, who's the biggest draw in boxing. It's the only way you can see Triple G.
Unless you go spend $500 and go to the T-Mobile Arena and go watch him fight.
Yeah, if you want to see that, like, I mean, he has a good fight this time, but his last fight was pure garbage against a guy that nobody could see ever possibly beating him. Just like Lomachenko this last weekend destroyed a guy that, I mean, the odds could have been 1,000,000 to 1, and no one would have put money on him.
Yeah, he was like minus 2,500 or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that's only because they can't do more than that.
Yeah.
Just because if he has a heart attack in the ring and dies, he loses, and then, I mean, they already took the books took enough of a bath yesterday on Tiger, because people love Tiger.
Yeah, somebody put how much was
85
it?
grand,
85?
won over
like
1.1.
I think 1.1.
Like 1.15 off 85 grand.
Hey.
Now, granted, 85 grand is a lot to put out there.
That's some cojones.
Listen, you have to have that money to be able to put it out there.
You have to be rich to make that bet. So at the end of the day, he's not changing his life. You're not putting an 85 grand golf bet if you're living or dying on it.
Yeah. You have $5 million already in the bank at least.
But how about Tiger?
Let's talk about Tiger now. Let's move on to golf. Josh, you're not here, man. We're talking about golf. You beg us to talk about other sports. He got mad that I was talking about the WNBA, even though we have a team out here now, so we're going to talk about it more. We're probably going to be at some of the WNBA games.
You know what the most amazing thing to me is, though, as we're talking about Tiger, is I'm not even like one of those Tiger fans. I have friends that are like insane Tiger fans.
Yeah.
But even I with him in contention, started watching it yesterday. I mean, it's just, he means so much more than everyone else.
Yeah.
It changed everything. I haven't seen what their ratings are, but they have to be
I'm gonna look that up
astronomical.
right
It
now.
has to be,
I know
it has to be their
crazy.
biggest ratings in years and years.
Listen, I came home. I was dead tired doing Uber and Lyft. Got home at right after 6. It had just started, and I'm like, I'm not going to bed. If I fall asleep, I'm gonna fall asleep in the chair. But I'm gonna have my alarm set for a couple more hours to wake up to make sure I can see the end. And I mean, just having that back, having that figure back there, with all the things he went through. Like, I know one day they'll have a movie about the Tiger Woods story.
Ooh, I doubt it.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all.
He has too much control. If they have a movie, it's going to be like that Saved by the Bell Lifetime movie where
No, I think they'll have a movie.
If
But
they have a movie,
anyways.
it'll be very unauthorized.
Did I say about a wedding in Vegas?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
But just the fact, you know, I mean, a lot of people didn't like him for certain things that he did in certain, you know.
Or certain people.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the fact that he went from going, you know, a kid, you know, being on a TV show. I can't remember the
Tonight Show at 4 years old.
It was a great rise and fall and rise again.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say.
But he also, even he never saw this. I mean, there's
And
all
he
the articles.
said that
He thought he was done.
I
Well,
mean, he's
his
overcome
body-
a messy public divorce.
Well,
He's-
I mean,
like,
what was the
Messy's an
addiction?
understatement.
Addiction.
What was the picture we saw?
Injuries?
What was the picture we saw 2 years ago? It was his mugshot.
Well, it was him all painkillered out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. We saw the video. You know, they released everyone's like, "Oh man, this dude used to be on top, and now he's gone. He's done." Like,
I mean, he's literally
what's
ranked
going on
like
with his
600
life?
or 700 in the world, right? Like, I was basically right below him, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I don't even play golf.
Yeah, you weren't far.
And, like, for him to come back and through all that adversity, I mean, it's pretty amazing, and it just shows how cool sports are, because you couldn't even write a movie
And you can relate
or
that.
book like
You
this.
can relate that to your own life too, or to, you know, like,
I don't know if I could relate that. Like, it's just like,
you can't relate that to your life. I'm talking about like
I don't know if the
ups and-
camera was on me and everyone was watching. If I had to walk a straight line, I might trip.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
he's like
Yeah, but
taking,
what
like,
I'm talking
pucks
about,
and
let me-
shots.
okay, what I'm talking about relating to your life, like, we go through ups and downs in life. A lot of people want to give up when things look like, oh man, I messed up, I can't, you know. But it shows that, you know what, just keep going, because you never know what's going to happen. Tiger went from being I mean, he hit rock bottom,
much.
and going from rock bottom to,
well, not rock. He hit rich people rock bottom.
I mean, that's still
It's not quite the same.
But at the same time, it is. When I'm saying relating to our lives, obviously we're not millionaires, but our rock bottom might be different than his, and our pinnacle is obviously going to be different than his too. So
Correct.
that's what I'm talking about. Is everyone could kind of relate to that, and the forgiveness factor. It's like, listen, people, we all mess up, and we live in a society nowadays that when people mess up, it's automatically throw them under the rug. Don't deal with them again. Talk bad about them like you've never done anything wrong in your life. We've seen that with different things that happen, and we'll talk about something that the Fox News chick said later on in the show.
Oh Lord.
She's horrible. If she got hit by a bus, yeah. Anyways,
I can't.
I missed this comment.
but we'll talk about that later. But you know, just seeing that, like, that gives like that human effect of, you know what, like,
Yeah.
even if you hated the guy, you have to respect the rise back up.
And the funny part is
that
that I remember having conversations with friends when all Tiger was doing was winning, and all this stuff is like, and he was doing almost like emotionless sometimes. Like, I even thought, is he a robot? Is he even human? Like, how is he winning all these tournaments, right? And then, like, all this stuff happened, and he is really humanized is the right word. And I feel like there's like so much empathy for him, and people understand, like, this dude had a really bad struggle, and he made it back to like winning the biggest tournament, and it's
and
amazing.
does that show how great he really is?
It really
Well,
does.
he-
I hope it could keep it. I hope it could keep it up. Like, how can you not root for it? Like, whether you like him
If
or
he
not.
never wins
or-
another one again,
It's-
if this
I
is the
agree.
end of the story,
But
this is
I
amazing.
want to see him chase the record too.
Yeah,
I think
definitely,
he's 4
definitely.
off right now.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, that seemed like such a foregone conclusion because he was so far ahead of the pace,
And then he took a decade off.
and then everything fell apart.
yeah, not
So
taking a decade off.
that's what
but-
shows you. I mean, with sports, you just don't know.
Yeah.
We were talking about hockey, Tampa Bay, one of the great regular season teams we've ever seen.
Yeah.
You don't know. They
know.
could be on their next game.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods. It's like it's not if he passes Jack Nicklaus. It's when, because he's so far ahead. But he also, on top of being great, he so completely changed the sport that he brought in a bunch of clones that got in shape and could start crushing the ball like he did. He created competition because he did not have it.
Yeah.
When he was coming up and was in so much, you saw other golfers. I mean, they were in like the shape that I'm in.
I'm not like looking you up and down right now, Dave.
Yeah, but I'm not in good shape. That's what I'm saying. These guys, they were not interested in being in good shape.
Yeah.
And they couldn't hit the ball as far.
Yeah.
And it used to be at that point, those older guys, if Tiger was close to you, you buckled because you knew he was coming and he wasn't going to mess up.
But I saw a stat the other day or yesterday that this was the first major tournament that Tiger came from behind to win in his career. The major. He's all the other ones he's won. He's either had the lead or the share lead going into Sunday, and this is the first one that he was behind a couple strokes.
That's because generally everybody fell apart on the Saturday.
Yeah,
because
Saturday's
if Tiger was if Tiger was close on Saturday, you thought the whole day you were just looking at the board and as your ball went into the water and everything else. So he really was the greatest. I mean, at his time, at his peak, he was the greatest that has ever or maybe will ever do it.
Yeah.
We don't know about that part, but you can ask anybody.
Up to that
I don't
time,
think there's any question.
Yeah.
But then he has his confidence back, and now did he put the younger guys on tour on notice, and now he has a whole generation of younger golfers that he's going to be going at. When he was the young
there's
guy,
people golfing right now that are only golfing because they watched
Tiger Woods,
you know?
But what I'm saying, he was that young guy before, right? And chasing all these older guys, and they buckled, like Dave said, right? And he caught up to them. And now not that he's old, but like he's not.
He's old for golf.
He's old to win majors.
Yeah, he's old to win majors. And now he's going to be the hunted, right?
Yeah.
Like some of these young guns, they kept him down for a while, but he wasn't really even relevant for a few years, But now it's like, if you win the Masters, that could just springboard him. He's going to be so focused and locked in there.
But I think part of the reason some of the young guns aren't as on top of him anymore is because they came up with nobody like Tiger to overcome. So they came in, and guys like Jordan Spieth were just winning majors.
Yeah.
And they never dealt with adversity yet. And now they're hitting their adversity, and they're still great players, but they're like, they don't know how to get past that hump. So these guys are actually in my opinion, bringing themselves down a little bit, because you see a lot of these guys, they're as talented as anybody that's ever played. And who knows if they're going to win a major, some of these guys.
Yeah.
Or if they win one or two. You just don't know. It's a crazy sport, and that, bombing 300-plus yards down the fairway doesn't separate you anymore. It's like now it's a requirement.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, I'm excited. I just kept checking. I was watching it when I could, and then when I was away from the TV, I was just checking on my phone every few minutes, to try to watch it. And I think it was really awesome, and I just want to see more, And I haven't looked at the ratings numbers, but I'm sure it's amazing. So.
And they said the ratings were hurt by the early start, but they had to start early.
Oh, that totally threw me off,
weather.
Man. I woke up, I'm like, I thought it was a replay of Saturday, and I'm like, no, it's Sunday. I'm like, what? Because I'm used to there being a lazy Sunday afternoon, and you're watching it, especially on the West Coast, and it's just now it was over at
it started at 6 a.m. I was driving home when I got the notification from Bleacher Report. The finals on. I'm like, oh man, and I saw that earlier that night, saying that it was going to be an early start, but so that did hurt the ratings a lot, especially on the West Coast. But it was still major ratings.
But I bet you probably had more people watching that replay that started at 11 than in the history of golf ever.
And that's what they said. They had the most overnight views ever on that.
Especially a lot of people knowing they were going to be watching it to watch Tiger would win.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a big win that today President Trump tweeted.
I didn't know you could
we have to report this, guys. It's important.
We have to report it.
Donald Trump is going to give Tiger Woods a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Wow. So he freed Tiger.
I don't actually know what that means.
It's the
if
highest,
someone does,
it's the highest civilian honor.
The highest civilian honor.
That's cool.
It's pretty
I
cool.
like it.
Yeah, because Tiger's done so much for people. I mean, he's done a lot for Waffle House waitresses, but okay.
Wow.
Other athletes that get it are like Kareem, people that have, actually done a lot of things socially. But, Tiger, he probably helped out with a few student loans here and there.
Listen, he brought everyone together yesterday to watch golf.
Well, that's
all
true.
colors, all creeds.
You said that didn't come out right. Ooh.
What? I said all colors.
Yeah, that's not what I know that's what you meant to say, but there was a D in there.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
definitely not.
Anyway, that's my point.
But
I
like to see him with a green jacket. It's pretty cool. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hugging his kids and everything, and like the pictures of him hugging his dad, when he first won, like it felt like it was just like a full circle kind of feel.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the best picture of the day. Did you see the Michael Phelps?
With behind him, like
Yeah.
pointing the same way he was pointing.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was awesome. So
Yeah. I'm cool on Phelps too.
he likes, he's had some adversity and
A little bit.
come back and was greatest Olympian possibly, ever, arguably.
Not possibly. I don't think there's an argument there.
No.
I mean, by any
It's
measurable,
like respect.
by any measurable, in a single Olympics or overall, he'll probably never ever be touched.
Yeah. All right, so he has 15 majors. He's 3 behind Jack Nicklaus with 18. Do you think he can do it? 3 more majors. He'd probably have to do it soon.
How old is Tiger exactly now?
43, I think.
Because I think Jack got his last one at like 48, but there had been some years in between there.
Yeah, but the competition.
Yeah, Tiger's 43.
Competition was very different. Tiger's 43. If he doesn't do it
could.
in the next 2-3 years, I'll say no.
You got 4 a year, right?
4 a year.
And he's going to have to pace himself with. I don't think he's going to be able to play in every major if he's like.
What if he only is
yesterday
playing in majors and he's like saving his body? Is
Well,
that like a strategy? I don't even.
But as much as that's saving your body, it's also
That's
not
like
keeping
you
you
out
in
of
the
practice.
rhythm. Yeah, you're
Because
not.
you have to be eligible too, right? But after winning,
He'll always
Tiger
have,
will
he has
always-
exemptions
yeah.
forever.
Okay.
He'll always have sponsors exemptions or previous winners exemptions. There will never be a tournament where they'll be like, Tiger, sorry, you didn't qualify for this one. You better get out there with the qualifiers and make the cut.
I say he does it.
I think he does too. 3 more. I mean, that's a lot.
Jack
Three to
Nicklaus,
tie.
Jack Nicklaus went to Ohio State, so I really hope the Tiger does it.
Wow, Buckeyes. From a Wolverine
And
fan.
Tiger's almost a Wolverine.
He went to
Tiger,
Stanford.
Wolf.
Stanford.
The Cardinal.
Yeah, it's one of the weakest mascots.
A tree.
But,
Yeah, it's a pretty bad one.
It's just a tree and his name's the Woods. I mean, could be worse.
Oh, my Lord.
wow.
Wow. You are a father now.
Carolina's up 1-0 so far on Washington. I really want Carolina to win the series. But then another part of me is wanting a rematch in the Stanley Cup final.
Of course you want to rematch.
I'm not jumping at it. I'm thinking about San Jose still.
Yeah, I'm not past that.
And I'm saying, if we make it, I want a rematch.
I feel like Bill Belichick right now. I'm like, just take it one day at a time. Everybody's going to do their job.
We had a great
And,
effort. They're a great team. And
Yeah, they're a great team.
really great practice
We'll have to
and-
play well to beat them, and we're just going to keep working.
well coached.
Yeah, I'm not going to say nothing inflammatory. No bulletin board material.
Not cheating at all.
It's probably the longest a show has ever gone without talking about the NBA, I feel.
I think we snuck the NBA in there a couple times already.
A little bit. But not
I mean,
like a
listen,
major
it's,
segment.
it's always with us. It's like the people the Jedis that died before. They're always with you.
died before.
And they might be coming back. Palpatine?
Well, no, he's not. It's already confirmed.
I called Palpatine, by the way.
It's confirmed.
When
Well, you
did-
didn't see
did
him
you
die.
call it-
He just fell down a super long
Yeah.
thing.
I called it.
When? After you heard the laugh or before you heard the laugh?
I called it at the end of the movie before.
All right, we'll have
Last
to
Jedi?
see
Really?
Facebook evidence. We'll have to see social media evidence on
No,
that.
it's going to come back as I can't think of the guy's name, but you have Kylo Ren, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you have the Major General Commander guy,
Hux or Snoke?
Hux.
Wow, we're really nerding it out here.
He is Palpatine's inside of him.
Inside of Hux?
Yep,
I don't see that.
But
But
that's it.
he's a little too weak for that. I
I
think.
mean, maybe in a Michael Jackson way, but
Oh gosh, Simone.
but
I still won't watch
Thank you
that.
for that.
I won't watch that documentary. I heard it got pulled.
Yeah, I still believe he did it.
It didn't get
is what it
pulled.
is.
It was already getting pulled, and then everyone, they took it off. It's like, no, they had a date set for it to go off air.
Yeah, they only had it for so long.
And it's still available on the app. It's just not on the TV schedule.
Everybody can calm down.
Whoa.
Everybody can just calm it down.
He knocked him out.
That's
that was the other day.
Yeah. But let me ask you a quick question about that trailer. Sorry to go back to that. Have you guys seen the edit at the end where instead of the Palpatine laugh, it's like Seth Rogen's laugh? Changes the whole complexion of the thing completely.
Horrible.
It's like.
We could have got Fat Albert. Would have been good.
Same thing.
Well, then you got to be Bill Cosby in there. So I mean,
that's not allowed.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, you could record his voice over the phone.
Plus, I mean, Lando's the one black guy in a galaxy far. Well, no, Finn.
Come on.
Finn is the second.
Don't disrespect Finn.
Sorry.
And the return of Darth Vader.
Darth Vader was super white inside.
Not his voice.
That's true. Well, but that voice was a machine.
True. It's a black machine.
It's a CNN voice.
Yeah, and Seth Rogen has played the same role in every single movie. So shout out to him to be able to keep making money off the same exact role.
Keep cashing those checks.
Yep.
Wow.
Do what you gotta do.
All right. Speaking of, what were we speaking of? Todd, you were bringing in a new subject.
I think we were getting to the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh, NBA.
We touched on it a little bit, but
your man Zion is declaring for the NBA draft.
it's exciting.
Everyone's
the
man
biggest
Zion.
surprise of the world.
So
I can't believe they listed that as breaking news. It should have just been like, oh yeah, Zion's
but it
coming
has
out.
to make it official.
That was ESPN breaking news, though.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Zion is leaving college early.
So is there any chance he's not the number one pick?
No.
Okay. So it just depends.
If Zion blew out his knee tomorrow, he'd be the number one pick.
I don't know about that,
I don't know
but
about that.
Yes, he would.
he's definitely the number one pick. I don't even think it matters, like, if a team happens to get up there and they need Ja Morant. I still think you have to take Zion or make a trade.
Oh, yeah. Zion is going number one no matter what.
So if you have the number one pick and really don't want him, you definitely trade it.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to say something public, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Yes. Can't wait for this.
If my basketball team,
The New York
the
Knicks.
New York Knicks, somehow get lucky enough to get the number one pick,
Uh-huh.
Which it might be set up because it's all computerized
which
now.
could be
so
fine, and I got a whole theory behind
Can't
that.
hack ping pong balls, but you could definitely hack a computer. Good job, NBA.
I don't
If
think
the
Adam
Knicks
Silver would
happen
do
to
that.
get the
He
number one
definitely would.
pick, and they do not draft Zion Williamson, I am going to renounce my fanhood.
Oh, you should.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
should.
I would go along with you on
Because
that.
I've already been hurting and die hard. I cannot handle it.
Any team
And
that
if
gets
they-
the number one pick
but-
and doesn't draft Zion, even if you don't love Zion, you trade the
But
pick.
Dave,
Yeah, definitely.
even if they draft him and he's the biggest bust ever, I wouldn't care. They have to draft him though. Okay.
And he
Oh, sorry.
won't,
I
he
don't
won't
mean to break in, but quick actual breaking news: Joe Thornton suspended the next game for an illegal check on Thomas Nosek.
Which wasn't even called.
Wasn't called in the game.
It was a, I believe that he got a 2-minute for it.
Yeah. Sorry. Back to the NBA, but I did just see that pop up. That's actual breaking news, folks.
and that's good breaking news.
Yes, good for us.
Man.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3-1 going back
So
to
I'm,
Jose.
Definitely.
I'm done with the Knicks if they get the number one pick and do not draft this young man.
I mean,
You
just
should
think
be.
of all that they've done to you so far.
I can't.
I mean, I feel
But
like
you know
I
how
have
I'm
to
feeling
show
good- but
a
you know how
Todd
I'm
doll,
feeling
like,
good?
show us on the tall where James Dolan touched you.
Oh my god.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
But here's the thing. I have a good
Show
feeling.
us on the doll.
The Knicks, they competed. They didn't really tank because they're not that good. Okay, they got some young players. They
They
got
also
they have
actively,
the worst record.
Hold on. They actively tanked. Mario Hezonja was their point guard for the last 10 games of the season.
Hey, they're not good. Like
I know they're not
They're
good.
good for three
but they
quarters
also
and then they lose.
They also actively tanked.
They're very young.
They traded. I mean, they better hope people are coming because they traded their best asset for cap space.
I know.
For cap space, they tanked.
But here's the thing about the Knicks. Okay, I have a good.
That's fact.
I have a good feeling and not so good feelings. Okay, they tank. They're in the lottery. They have.
Yes.
They have the best chance you can have of landing number one percentage-wise, right?
No.
Actually,
It's
not
tied-
anymore.
Four teams have the
It's
same.
four
percentage.
teams have the exact
but
same
it's still
chance.
the best, right? It's
Yes,
still the
4
highest.
teams share
no
the
one's
best
higher
chance.
than them, okay?
Correct.
But other people are the same, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the Cavs. I hate saying the Cavs.
Oh
I'm
my God!
scared
If
to
it's,
death
if it's the
We're gonna-
Cavs,
saying the Cavs.
save Zion.
So
Save
it's
Zion.
the Cavs, Knicks, Suns.
Oh, he shouldn't go to the
and
Suns
Bulls.
either.
Yeah.
They're so
And
mismanaged.
So the Suns got okay. So let me just finish my pick. The Knicks announced that Patrick Ewing is going to be the representative
Yes.
for the draft, which makes me feel good because if the NBA does do their hacking, rigging,
But has he ever shot that shot?
But listen.
You ever shot that shot?
The Knicks, the last time they had number 1 was
Patrick
Ewing.
1985.
And I feel like it's maybe history repeating itself. But the thing that scares me, Dave, and this is just me being a crazy fan, the NBA draft's in Chicago.
Oh.
And the Bulls always screw the Knicks over. And I can't.
Well, no, that was
feel,
one
and Patrick
human
Ewing.
being named Michael Jordan that
Okay.
did that.
Well,
He did that himself.
the only time we beat them is when Tony Kukoc was there. It
Their
didn't
best
really
player,
count.
their second best player
Yeah.
behind Pippen.
And so I'm nervous about that.
All right.
So, but I feel like if we want to really handicap if it is hacked or rigged, like I feel like the Suns got it last year.
And I don't want you to be disappointed if you get second pick because John Morant could possibly be
John
a
Morant could be
really
a game
great
changer.
player.
I'm gonna be disappointed.
I mean, you want one.
It's all or nothing.
You want one.
It's all or nothing. I
Especially
want Zion
since,
or nothing.
especially since Zion is like getting bumped up into the USA basketball pool, and he's like the next up. Like all the stars love him, and he has good basketball IQ. He's a crazy athlete.
Yeah, and
he
fit in
physically
great-
doesn't make sense.
And he'll be great in New York. I feel. Look,
he's a star.
they can't give it to Cleveland again. They've had so many. I know LeBron left again, but they don't give it to the Cavs.
Oh my God, no. Well, actually,
And Phoenix, no, they had number 1 pick last year.
Phoenix is also a management disaster. But have you seen? They had stats. So Duke's national TV games versus NBA national TV games, Zion actually gets more viewers than NBA games.
That's great. That's crazy.
He's a star.
Yeah.
He's a flat out star. You put him in New York, even some older players, they're coming.
That's great.
You are going to come to play with Zion.
I love it.
He
But know who I'm scared
means
of?
a lot.
Who it's going to be rigged for? The Lakers.
If Zion goes to the Lakers, I'm going to cut his Achilles. And I love the kid, but I will not allow that to happen.
Wow.
I won't allow
The
it.
NBA wants it to happen, I feel.
Oh my God, no. Well, LeBron wouldn't want it to happen. Zion's too young. He can't play with Zion. Plus, Zion's not a shooter, so this would be the worst possible situation, especially if they hire Ty Lue. That would actually be a worse situation than Phoenix for him to go to.
First of all, they better not hire Ty Lue. I might actually, if they hire Ty Lue, I'm not going to do that. But
Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself.
LeBron just has to run everything. Player, coach, GM, president, owner. He has to be.
I think this
have all the
time,
power,
I think
the whole
this
organizational.
time, we always blame LeBron for it. I don't even think he had to do it this time. I think there was so much dysfunction that it kind of did itself.
They are sneakily, since Dr. Buss died, a horrible organization.
It's not run, right?
They're a horrible run organization. I mean, I love it. I hate the Lakers, so I love it so much. I want it to go on forever like this.
Well, he's not coming back.
However,
Unless he's Palpatine.
yeah,
I mean, he's
if Dr. Buss comes, I mean, if anybody could,
Dr. Buss
that guy would
Palpatine.
come back to torment me. Dr. Buss tormented me my whole life. But I'm just saying, even if they got the number 1 pick, I feel like they would find a way to mess it up. Well,
The
because
Lakers?
if they got the number 1
They
pick,
draft Cam Reddish because he's supposed to be a shooter for
forget
LeBron.
that. They would trade it in that Anthony Davis deal along with
Oh,
all their
gosh.
good young players.
David Griffin would be all over that too.
Anthony
Oh yeah,
Davis-
David Griffin would be like, "Oh no, don't give us Zion."
I don't know if you guys talked about it on the last show, but Anthony Davis, you see the shirt he wore in the last game?
That's all, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you
just
don't
disrespectful for the fans.
listen, exactly.
Man.
You barely have that many fans.
And then he
there.
said someone else picks out his clothes.
"Okay, but you
But he still puts it on.
but you still saw it and you still knew about it." So I know these
Did
guys.
he not know what
These
it
guys
meant?
have stylists. It's like, come on. It
That was all
means
planned.
one or two things. I'm going to be in the next Space Jam with LeBron because he's my boy, or I'm out of here. Which, by the way, Anthony Davis, for a player I love watching so much,
He makes bad choices.
man, he's such a jerk.
Yeah.
Good job, Clutch Sports. You ruined Anthony Davis for us. You ruined somebody that seemed to be impossible to ruin. How could you not like Anthony Davis? I don't like Anthony Davis now.
Wow.
Wow. I
You
mean, as
only
a
like
person.
Anthony Davis because he's
He
eventually
might be
going to
a
be a
Laker.
Laker.
Yeah, he
I've
might be
always
a
liked
Laker.
him.
I always liked him too, but it's just, I mean, just be a man. Be a man. Be your own man.
Yeah, but we are in the day and age of trade demands now. I mean,
We are, but
he's
there's-
not the first one to do
there's-
it. We
there's
saw Kawhi
better-
Leonard do it in
But there's better ways to do it. And I think Clutch and the Lakers destroyed that whole situation. It could have been done so much more easily and better because they tried to force the hand to make it go to the Lakers in the season. And the Pelicans finally did make one decently smart move. They're like, we don't have to do anything. What are you talking about? You have an ownership group that doesn't know anything about this. Like, wait, isn't he under contract? Okay, yeah, no thanks.
We can keep him. We don't have to play him in the fourth quarter of any game.
Yeah.
They even handled that stupidly. Because, and first of all, they were still in the playoff hunt when all this went down.
Oh, I'd have sat him the whole time. I would have sat him out every other game and improved my slot.
Yeah, I mean.
Not trying for
I
Zion.
know what they did, yeah.
Hashtag not trying for Zion.
Not trying for Zion.
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
Get
I
your
mean,
next big star.
they could possibly get the first pick. Now, if they got the first pick, does Anthony Davis still want out?
Yes. He burned that bridge.
So he's done.
He's done.
Even with David Griffin there's no hope in keeping him, and David Griffin coming in and saying, listen, this is how we're going to build the team. This is how I built the team in Cleveland.
He also did a good job in Phoenix, too.
Phoenix. I mean,
with Sarver restrictions, of course. He couldn't do a great job because as long as Sarver's the owner, no one can do a great job there.
yes. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that was a very interesting for Pelicans to pick him up. I'm actually disappointed the Lakers didn't pick up Griffin.
Well, they haven't gotten rid of Rob Pelinka.
No, they gave him more power, which is scary.
The one of the most. I understand like using agents for these things, but he was well known to be the most hated agent by other agents. So it's like, is this really the guy you want out there negotiating with everybody?
But we didn't hear that. We didn't hear that when he got hired. We just started hearing that recently, and there was only one report that I heard that.
True, but then think about it this way: the only agent that he seems to get along with is Rich Paul. And Rich Paul should love him because he gave Kentavious Caldwell-Pope 2 huge deals for 2 individual seasons, especially after the first year. I also think you probably never had to give Kentavious Caldwell-Pope any money because LeBron was coming anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
LeBron was coming anyway. Clearly, he
you
did
can
not
say
go to
that
the
now,
best
but nobody
basketball
was
decision.
saying that before.
He did not go to the best basketball situation. I think all of us would agree on that.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I think LeBron was going to the Lakers
To make
no matter
make
what.
shows.
Correct. He has non. And by the way,
Have you watched $1 Million Mile
he's-
with Tim Tebow?
I have not.
I heard it's off air already.
I watched like up to the first commercial break of one episode.
Wow.
It's kind of
more than I
like
did.
American Ninja Warrior and like American Gladiators combined, really, with Tim Tebow.
And by the way, I'm not faulting LeBron for moving on to other things because, I mean, he doesn't really have anything left to accomplish, really. Do what you want. Ruin the Lakers while you're at it, please, but do what you want.
Yeah, they'll be fine next year.
Okay. I thought weren't they going to the championship this year? I remember a certain
And
Fonseca.
what did I say?
I'm sure
Unless
there's a
there was
Facebook
injuries.
post for this.
And this is the funny thing that people just don't understand. If any team in the league had as many injuries as Lakers had, they would not be in the playoffs either. If you take the 3 or 4 best players from Golden State and they all miss 20-plus games each, they might still make the playoffs, but they're 8th seed. They're not the 1 seed. So, listen, there was dysfunction, but the main reason they missed the playoffs was because of injuries. When LeBron went out, and I've said it a million times.
I don't think he was hurt.
Okay, he pulled his groin, so
Okay.
he's still hurt.
Okay.
But so that was a fake injury. Why?
Yep.
Why would someone fake an
Well,
injury?
what
Conspiracy
about his hand injury last year? That
Load
broken hand that
management.
magically showed up.
Load management's the word.
Load management. Yeah, he was healthy enough to go out there and
So
play.
he slipped. We watched the injury happen. We watched
I'm
him.
not saying he wasn't injured.
I'm not saying he wasn't hurt. I'm just saying he wasn't injured. I'm saying he made that last as long as he wanted to because he was evaluating these guys
Okay.
for trades.
beyond Laker Dave haterism.
I don't think I'm the only person that
LeBron.
thinks this.
I've never heard that.
Okay. I mean, listen.
I mean, that's fine, but
it's
you're
not like I have
a Laker
sources.
hater.
It's not like I have
Exactly.
sources. This is based on my own opinion.
Okay, so LeBron sabotaged the Lakers.
Yes.
And decided to sit out 20 games in the middle of the season while they had the 4th best record, and they were in the middle of beating the Golden State Warriors on Christmas Day. LeBron said this would be a good time to fake an injury and sit out the next 20 games. That makes zero sense.
Hold on.
first
You
of
mean
all.
the same LeBron who the first year he went back to Cleveland disappeared to Miami for a little bit and was seen doing workouts with Dwayne Wade? That same guy? What a shocker. I can't believe he would do almost the exact same thing. I can't believe it.
He was preoccupied like producing movies and documentaries.
Yeah,
and
So in the middle of the
everything
game,
else.
he just slips. makes himself
I'm
slip,
not saying
pulls his groin.
I'm not saying he wasn't
but
hurt.
fakes it.
I'm not saying he wasn't hurt, but I think he was trying to evaluate and get these guys to get their trade values up because he wanted Anthony Davis. I'm not saying he wasn't hurt. I'm saying he would have missed a few games. But especially after the word came out from this doctor that no one ever heard of, all of a sudden it's like, I can't believe he ever came back this season. All that other nonsense.
Yeah,
it's like,
I
come on.
don't believe that one. But anyways, in basketball terms, beyond the conspiracy theories, Lakers had the 4th best record. LeBron got hurt. Lonzo got hurt. And let's face it, Lonzo was actually playing really well when he got hurt. And Lakers, he was the only defensive player on the team at the time. And they fell apart even after that, too. So
They have no D.
Yeah. But the good thing is, listen, they set it up to where everybody's on 1-year contracts, so they could have a totally brand new team next year. They could still possibly make trades. They're going to have a lottery pick, which could be a high pick if the fake numbers go up right.
Depends on this year. It depends on how high you can get, because basically if you're past the first 3 or 4 players, you might as well be towards the end of the first round because it's just as much of a crapshoot.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not a good year to have like that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pick.
But one thing
you
the
could
Lakers
get a good player, or you could get a player that never plays for you.
Yeah. One thing the Lakers have done that, everyone says Magic did a horrible job, which he didn't do a horrible job. He got rid of horrible contracts. No one thought they were getting rid of Luol Deng's contract. No one thought they would be able to get rid of Mozgov's contract, even though it did cost them a future All-Star. But, they drafted well in the later rounds, or late in the first with Kuzma, with, different players, Josh Hart. So they didn't do a horrible job.
That's their best picks.
It's just been escalated so much more because it's the Lakers, because you see that it's the playoffs. Lakers aren't even in it, and
we're talking about
they're still the top
course.
story on every sports news channel.
But I think your bigger problem with them is if you look at all the best run teams in the league, and I know one of these you won't agree with, but Sam Presti in Oklahoma City does a great job.
No,
R.C. Buford for the Spurs does a great job. Daryl Morey, Danny Ainge, all these other guys are like basketball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're scouting college players to do it. Magic's only scouting a college player if they play for Michigan State or they play against Michigan State.
The whole Magic.
And I never saw Rob Pelinka at a college game. It's like the best guys are like just basketball junkies now.
Yeah.
I think it's a very hard job for a player, especially such a massive celebrity as Magic Johnson, who has other businesses he has to worry about.
Like LeBron.
Yeah, you can't be in charge of basketball operations now like that. It's not like it
and that's
used to be.
why I'm not even mad that he's gone. I mean,
he needed to go.
It wasn't a big deal.
This isn't a role for Magic. He could be in the Laker organization. This isn't a role.
He'll still be around as much as he was.
Yeah,
he always has
exactly.
been.
It's just he won't be
now
making the actual deals,
and he won't have a title to get himself in trouble.
Correct.
And now he can tamper.
Yeah.
He's still going to be around. He's still going to be in the meetings with free agents. It's not tampering anymore. He can go on Jimmy Kimmel and talk about players.
This is the best idea he ever had because he'll be just as effective in making personnel moves.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think Magic landed LeBron James. I think LeBron James is coming no matter what.
There was zero chance LeBron was going with Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss.
Well, but Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss were gone.
But we didn't know that. They're gone because they replaced them with Magic and Rob. So obviously they needed for them to be gone and to have replacements for somebody like LeBron to even come there. Because if they were in dysfunction and he met with Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak, do you think he would have been like, okay, yeah, this is the best decision for me? I don't think so. He could have went to the Clippers if he wanted to just be in L.A.
That would have been a better decision. They have a better group together.
Maybe.
They just do. I mean, now that you have, like, Lawrence Frank's good in the front office, now that you have Jerry West, part of the decision-making process, and especially as spiteful of a guy as he is, he's trying to stick it to the Lakers at every turn. And Doc Rivers returned to being a good coach. They took away that GM title. He, it looks like he missed some tee times this year and actually got out there and coached.
I mean, and I don't know how smart they were by making the playoffs to lose in 4 games. So it would have been better.
I don't think they were trying to. I think they put together a group of guys Well, you also had like the robbery of Zubac from Mike Muscala. I mean, it's like they were trying to tank, but it's like, hey, we really want Mike Muscala. Here, we'll trade you Zubac. It's like, okay, twist our arms while you're at it for a good young center for a guy that shouldn't be playing any minutes in the NBA
at all.
I mean,
that guy's horrible.
You're really taking a lot from us, but okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly how that went down also.
But
that was horrible.
It just seems like that organization is now all of a sudden, crazily, the organization that was never well run is now kind of well run. And now
they got a new owner. They had
But I mean,
Sterling forever.
True, but Ballmer also gave Doc coach and GM powers, which you can't do anymore. You just can't do it.
It's too much of a split. There's too much responsibility.
It's way too much responsibility. And it's two very full-time jobs. You can't do both. So, but now it seems like Ballmer kind of learned who to get involved there. He started stepping back more.
He's run some big organizations.
True, but it looks like he learned.
Yeah.
He learned that okay, these decisions were wrong. So now we're going to start making good decisions. And now the Clippers. I mean, that's a team going forward. They have some good young players. They have a ton of cap room.
Yeah, and it's LA.
And they have a ton of guys that work hard.
Yeah.
They're going to get in their own stadium that Ballmer's going to pay for.
Could they at least get one win against the Warriors this opening series?
No.
They're getting swept.
They're not good enough. They're a gritty team.
It's like a learning year
They're
for
a tough
them.
team. Well,
they
I don't
could get a game in LA.
Game 3, maybe?
They could get game 3,
no,
something like that.
Because they're not going to have home court. There's going to be at least 10,000 Warriors fans there. All I'm saying is...
you don't know LA good enough. They have a lot of bandwagon Clipper fans right now.
Still.
Come on.
But there's still more bandwagon Warriors fans there.
They're just Warriors fans. Yeah.
I'm just saying that...
That game's tonight, I think.
I
7:30.
really think that they're set up well. I really feel they're getting at least Kawhi. At least. And you add Kawhi to a team. I mean, they have some gritty players on this team. I mean, I hate Patrick Beverly, but he's tough. It's dirty, but he's tough.
I mean, what about game 1 in Toronto? That was did you see that one coming, Dave? I don't think you did.
I didn't. I thought they would be a little bit different this year with Kawhi there. But evidently, they're still the Raptors, and you don't win game 1 ever.
And unfortunately, no matter what Kawhi does, he still has Kyle Lowry. I mean, 0 points. You just can't do that.
That's crazy.
You can't do that.
Quan scored the same amount.
Exactly. I'm averaging the same points per game as Kyle Lowry right now in the playoffs.
Kyle Lowry has always been trash in the playoffs. That has never changed. Ever. He's never had a good playoffs. Never had a good playoff series.
And there's a lot of people that actually picked Orlando in this series because they're just a team with nothing to lose.
The same guy who picked Tiger Woods?
Yeah, I would.
They play hard. I don't see them win the series, but I think they're going to give Toronto a lot more problems that they thought they would have. I think Toronto maybe went in thinking they could sweep these guys.
I think that was exactly it. But it's like you've looked at it all year. Kawhi's missed a lot of games. Kawhi played, 50 to 55 games?
Yeah, he's missed a few.
He missed quite a bit of games. Lowry missed a bunch of games. But, I mean, also, Lowry's not their best point guard anymore. Plus, he's still heartbroken from that DeRozan trade.
Yeah.
I'm not... I think Steve Clifford's a good coach. I think Orlando's well coached. I saw somebody posting... in the Laker the Ball bounce group that talking about how they remind him of the Warriors coming up. I'm like,
oh gosh, who was that?
I don't remember, but I'm like,
that was horrible.
That's ridiculous.
A little much.
I'm like that.
The 03 Warriors were a different breed.
I'm just like, yeah, I don't see anybody on that team that's like Steph or Clay.
No, he's not talking about that team.
No, he was. He said
no. He's talking about the Baron Davis.
Well, then he put
said the 03.
Then he put no, he didn't put 03.
He said 03. I promise.
Put 13.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
I thought he was talking about that. What year was that? The Baron Davis. And
that was later.
Oh, see, that's what I thought he was talking about.
No, he was really talking about the Steph and Clay, and before Draymond was a starter coming up. Warriors.
No, there's no one.
Yeah,
I thought he was talking about the Baron Davis, Steven Jackson. Jason Richardson Warriors.
Yeah.
They played the Mavericks.
Nope. That's not at all what he was talking about.
Okay. I definitely got confused on that.
He was talking about the Steph and Clay coming up Warriors.
Wow. Not close.
And no, not remotely close. It's like you got a bunch of like long athletes, but you have Mo Bamba who gave you nothing.
Well, the other problem with that
All
is
year.
that's probably the only game he's watched of Orlando all year.
Now, I've watched Orlando.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about him.
I understand that, but it's like
I'm talking
I've
about
watched
him.
them. They're not a good team.
It's the playoffs. People will overdo something because they watch one game. And listen, Toronto might win the series 4-1.
But game ones are really important. And
No, they're not. Game ones
Statistically?
are very. Are
They're
they?
not necessarily for the better team if you'll right the ship, but for Toronto, they're important because they never win them. They never, ever win their first game of the playoffs.
Pretty sure I can look it up. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the upset
in a
we lost the
7-game
game.
series, you can give up game one. I mean, remember the 2001 Lakers lost game one to the Sixers. How did that turn out?
4-1.
They won every other playoff game in that entire playoffs. So I'm not entirely worried about game one. Especially when Kyle Lowry, I mean, there's not another game where Kyle Lowry is going to give you actual nothing.
Kawhi missed 22 games this year. I was trying to find it. He played 60 this year,
Oh, that's a few more than I thought he played. That's about
Yeah.
5 more than I thought he played.
which isn't horrible coming off all the, he was coming off different injuries and
So
he missed a whole year and a half.
We still don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Uncle Dennis diagnosed those injuries.
But even this, okay, so he missed a lot of games this year. Is this, we call Anthony Davis a jerk because of how he handled it, but is Kawhi doing the same thing just in a more quiet way?
Kawhi just kept it quieter.
And
I think
guys,
he learned from
because
last year.
did he want to play a lot of games, or did he want to let me pace myself because I don't want to be here. I don't want to get hurt. I don't necessarily want to be here.
Oh yeah.
Let me pace myself this year, get into the playoffs, do whatever I have to do there.
100%. He's
If we
going to the
win, we
Clippers
win.
next year.
If not, yeah.
I believe that. I'm in complete agreement with you on that.
Since the 1983-84 season, winners of Game 1 have gone on to win the series 79% of the time.
But we have to look
how
at the
many times
7-2
exactly.
series.
How many times did the lower seed? I'm not talking like a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Go on to win it. I bet you most of those. That's where the flip is.
Yeah.
Well, they said over the
Because
last 7
because
years.
you're talking like the 1 is beating the 8 every time in game 1 usually. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what we're talking about here.
No, but I'm talking about.
We're talking 2-7.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the lower seed wins a game. It's not like panic mode.
But
you know
if
what I'm
Game
saying?
1 is in the important game.
But it's not that important when the lower seed is winning. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm saying, okay.
But because the majority of those games aren't the lower seed winning.
Exactly. The majority, it's your higher seeded team is taking that first seed. Look at the play. I mean, this year, it was a weird anomaly on Saturday, and then what happened Sunday? Every higher seed won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one.
But we don't know the outcomes of the series yet.
Oh
No,
well,
no, no,
we do in the Milwaukee series.
We're saying
already know
4
that
out of
outcome.
5 of those 4 out of 5 of those higher seeds are gonna, some of them are gonna lose.
A higher seed will always lose.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no NBA playoffs where no higher seed.
Especially because there's a 4 and 5 that are equally matched. There's a 6 and 3 are equally matched.
No, Game 1s are important. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
well,
but
any playoff game is important.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
it's not panic mode. That's
if you're a significantly better team during the regular season, I think it's rare that losing game 1 in a 7-game series kills you.
and out of all the teams that lost, I think Toronto is easily the team you could look at saying that they're probably still going to win that series.
Oh yeah, I mean they needed a historically bad Kyle Lowry game.
And we could look at Brooklyn and Philly. I think Brooklyn has a chance to win that series. I think it's going to be a 6-7 game series, but I really do legit think Brooklyn could win
But
that
did you
series.
think it before the series that
I've watched Brooklyn a
or
lot.
after game 1?
No, I thought before that.
Because that
I agree.
changes.
No, I
thought
agree with
before
him.
that, for sure.
It wouldn't have shocked me. I would of course pick the Sixers, but I think this is finally when they can get rid of Brett Brown.
What about Nuggets Spurs before the series
Oh
started?
no, I mean listen,
I said
Pop's a
Spurs
magician.
to win, yeah.
Pop's a magician because that team isn't talented enough, but I did say you have to look at the Nuggets. The Nuggets to me, because of their depth, I mean the Raptors in a lot of ways like this too. Teams like that are regular season teams
you're
because
right.
they're so deep you play so many players so consistently that once you start shortening those rotations in the playoffs,
It changes everything.
like all of a sudden now, like your guys who go at bench players normally, all of a sudden the starters are playing 40 minutes a night.
Well, we got to look at this series too. Like, obviously Denver has Jokic, and he's an all-star. But other than that, who do they have? And I think that's what it comes down to. With San Antonio, you have two legit guys that have been into multiple all-star games with Aldridge and your boy from Toronto.
Plus a ton of role players who know exactly where they play.
And
arguably
the best coach.
Yeah,
right?
probably the best coach of all time.
The best coach of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, especially considering that they lost DeJounte Murray without him playing a game this season, and he would have been a big part of their team. It just, if you see their guards and everything like that, they could sneak up on the Nuggets. I mean, they can't sneak up on better teams. You know, like if they were playing the Warriors, it would just be lights out. But I mean, like I said, I think the best thing that will happen to Philadelphia is to finally get rid of Brett Brown, get in a good coach, and a coach that maybe says, hey, Ben Simmons, how about you don't spend the off seasons fooling around and just shoot jumpers constantly? Or we'll find a way to get you out of town.
How has that not happened yet in his career, though?
Because
I just don't get it.
No one has pressed him. He's so naturally gifted that no one has pressed him. And now you've seen it where...
If he doesn't get a shot, somebody in the group said that he's going to be out of the league in 2 years, which
that's
is the
ridiculous.
Stupidest thing I've heard in my life.
That's absurd.
Playing how he is now, he's still going to last 10 more years in the league at least.
He has insane vision. He's huge. Yeah. He's a good defensive player.
But
I
if
mean,
he doesn't get a shot,
potential.
he'll never be a superstar.
Never. And I think the problem also for Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons wants to be the guy. And as long as Joel Embiid is healthy, that ain't happening because Joel Embiid is better.
By far. Bucks and Pistons, this series is
no
over.
Need to talk about it. Especially with Blake out. I think that was a sweep anyway. And
so when you're Detroit and you trade for Blake Griffin knowing that he might get us in the playoffs, but every time he gets to the playoffs he gets hurt and rarely plays in the playoffs.
Someone's got
still a success.
Someone's got to take the chance on a guy like that.
By the way, Blake had a great year.
Yeah.
Blake had a great year, number one, and other than that, they would have
been
just
a broken guy, though. I mean,
they would have been just good enough to be at the bottom of the lottery, which is the worst place to be. At least you get a little playoff money, and you can act like you're relevant. And Blake Griffin is going to be on an All-NBA team. He'll probably be like third team this year.
Yeah.
His stats are actually really good this year.
But here's the thing: even with Blake, the score might have lost by 20 instead of 30 or almost 40.
Oh, it wouldn't have been a close game with Blake, but it would have been a competitive basketball game, not the joke that it was where Giannis didn't see the floor in the fourth quarter.
And Giannis was taking threes.
Giannis was taking threes. Giannis was going through two,
whatever
three people.
he wanted to.
I just like seeing somebody that's not a great shooter, at least like, I'm going to shoot, though. You know what I'm saying? Unlike Ben Simmons that won't.
But the fact is, everyone knows Giannis is working on it.
Yeah.
Giannis is his hands are just so big, it's going to be hard for him to be a good shooter. But he is working to be a good shooter. I mean, if that guy gets a shot,
it's over.
He is so nasty. It's just, you shut it down. That's multiple MVPs. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's one of the best offensive players in the league, and he can't really shoot. He shoots enough to keep you honest.
Yeah.
But realistically, even when you back off of him,
unstoppable.
he either just steps around you or goes over you. There's nothing you could do. And Shaq actually turned out to be right when he's like, he's better than me at this age. And you look at their numbers and it's like, wow, you're talking about like prime young Shaq tearing through people. And it's like, Giannis's numbers were a little bit better. And he also brings the ball up and plays much better defense.
Yeah.
It's like, Shaq, this time you were right.
Yeah.
And he's still young. I mean, that's the crazy
He's 24.
part. This guy is still super young.
But look how much he's improved I mean, a lot of people made the case for him for like most improved player this year, which will never go to a player that good. But it's like realistically, just the extra muscle he added, and
he should definitely be co-MVP.
No co-MVPs. I think he'll end up being MVP.
This is a possible co-MVP year. If there's ever been a year for co-MVPs.
I called it and talked.
I'm saying
said that first.
Yeah, I'm saying there's not a wrong
Dave yelled
answer.
at me.
There's not a wrong answer. There won't be co-MVPs. I don't think you can be mad at either one. Now, the one thing I will say is either way, whoever loses is coming out gunning the next year. So it's like I would say, I think if you don't give, because Harden's already been gunning. If you don't give Giannis the MVP this year, think of Giannis next year. Just imagine him with an extra chip on his shoulder.
It depends. I think it depends on each team's and players' like playoff success too. If one of them goes on,
it doesn't though. It's the votes are already done.
No, the mentality of coming out on the edge, right?
Talking about for next year.
For next year, yeah. Let's see how far they
But
go. How they
Giannis is
finish.
crazy. Giannis is a much more fiery competitor because he's a nice guy than I think people realize. Like Giannis specifically goes at people. Like he looked at Ben Simmons, who's 6'10", when he covers him, and afterwards he called him a baby. He was just like, and he gives him this look like, do you really think you can cover me? Like Giannis has far more attitude than people give him credit for because he's a good guy. But when he steps on that court, that guy is a murderer. He is tough.
Yeah. He will be the best player in the league for a long time, which is sad. So we saw LeBron was the best player for, the past 7-8 years probably, or at least named the best player. Kevin Durant's turn was next, right? But it skipped over Kevin Durant and went to Giannis. Now, do you think this is making Kevin Durant even more upset than he already is?
I think
because he's already upset at life. Him and Russ are like the two most grudged people I've ever seen talk NBA basketball.
But I think
it's all opinion. It's like us sitting around talking about it.
No, I know,
It's
but
not,
everyone's opinion becomes a fact to the masses, right?
But just imagine you're Kevin Durant. You're
Kevin Durant's got
greatest.
championships.
You're possibly the greatest scoring weapon that's ever walked the
and has
basketball
multiple
earth.
championships now.
Yeah.
Multiple championships, everything else.
And still not being called the best,
the
greatest
crazy
player
thing
in the league.
is, exactly, he couldn't ever quite get past LeBron. And now
There's some
here comes
younger,
Giannis.
Yeah, it's just a timing thing. I don't think
But here's the
scheme of
thing.
things-
top
Here's the
10
thing.
player ever.
Yeah.
If he really wants to be called the greatest player for 2 or 3 years, he cannot do. If this is really a desire, like I've won championships.
He can't do it in.
Listen,
with the
okay,
Warriors.
can I finish my sentence? He won't be able to do it in Golden State. You really?
No, I agree because they won before
and
him.
so I could see him maybe leaving if that's something he really wants, because these things bother him. You could tell these things bother him. If they win another ring or if they don't, he's done enough in Golden State. I could see him possibly leaving this summer and going somewhere like New York.
I still think it's next year. I think
LA Clippers.
I still think he plays 1 year in the new stadium. I've always
I
believed
feel like there's
that.
been too many signs showing that he
I
won't.
get it, and I see everybody's like on all the things. Like Rick Bucher's like 99% he's gone.
Well, Rick Bucher's been wrong about. That's why he's not on ESPN anymore. He's on like Fox Sports 5.
Well, he was only just the guy that followed Kobe around. He's like Kobe's Brian Windhorst.
Oh, he was never that bad.
No, that's true. Nobody's as bad as Windhorst. But I really think I'm just sticking with my initial opinion, which is based on nothing but my own opinion.
Yeah.
I think he wants to play, 3 straight years, because the big thing is playing the new stadium, which is unbelievable. And there's a big difference between winning 3 straight and winning 4 straight.
Yeah.
Winning 4 straight
you
is
above
the
Jordan.
rarest of air.
Put you above Jordan, Kobe.
Exactly. It puts you above everybody except for the old school Celtics
A
teams
lot
that
has
you
to
can't even
happen.
compare
They're
to.
only halfway there.
True. Well, I think they're going to win again this year. So, assuming they win again this year, listen, they don't win this year, then I couldn't see him staying. That's the easiest exit strategy ever. Winning 3 with 4 on the horizon, I think you have to take that shot. Because 4 means a lot.
And then if you win 4, you can leave and say, listen, I
Exactly.
helped accomplish something no one else has ever done.
Open the new stadium. The only other team that's ever done this is the old Celtics, and it's not like you can count that like it's the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Come on. But like in the more modern NBA, the Bulls and the Lakers have three-peated. But nobody but those old Celtics went 4. So you do that, and it's like then you can put your legitimate stamp in the era of, salary caps and scouting and all this other stuff of we are the greatest team that has ever walked the earth. And that means something in the grand scheme of
Sure.
things. Look at those old Celtics teams. Like, everybody on the team is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Do you think all those guys are actually Hall of Famers? No, they just happen to play for the Celtics. It's like, it's
Well, and back
going to
then there
mean
was
more.
10 teams, so they had all the best players.
Correct. But it's like all the other teams had to be, except for the Knicks, had to be loaded.
Yeah.
It's just, this is the team that kept winning. So you have to look at it as like, I just think that as somebody who cares about basketball like he does, they win this year. I'll give you this: last year in the new building, we go for 4. Win or lose on 4, I'm out.
Yeah.
And everybody will be okay with that.
Good logic.
But also, because Steph is bulletproof there forever. Clay's not leaving. I don't think Clay's ever leaving. But
I don't think either of them are.
yeah, the two of them, and then they'll just go back to being the Warriors that everybody loved before Kevin Durant got there.
And
So you're
became
just going to be the Clay and Steph
heels.
Warriors
Yeah.
for a while, and everybody can go back to like, oh, we just love watching these guys play, especially once they get hot. Forget about it. So that's my theory on it. I think it holds water. Now, granted, there's a lot of people with a lot more NBA inside knowledge than me that basically say he already has a Knicks jersey. So
That'd be crazy.
I'm not buying it yet.
But any way, you're right. I don't see him playing past next year.
I can't fathom that.
In Golden State.
because at a certain point, it stops making sense, especially since they're never going to love him like they love Steph.
Yeah.
You'll never be the guy on your team while Steph Curry is there.
Yep.
You just won't. And that's why Clay is perfect for him, because Clay doesn't care.
Yep.
Kevin Durant cares.
And Clay knows that it makes him better as a player too.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be as good of a player on any other squad than the Warriors.
But
anyway,
Clay is
so.
like universally acclaimed as like the greatest teammate of all time,
Yeah.
and just a different kind of dude who doesn't care. He doesn't need any of the
Yeah.
rest of this stuff. Clay's going to be a Hall of Famer who never had any pressure on him whatsoever. Who could just go out, get scorching hot, will be one of
Yeah.
the best shooters that ever lived, a fantastic defensive player, a great all-time two guard, and never had to be the best guy on his team, nor cared that he wasn't.
Now, if the Warriors and Milwaukee face off in the finals, I know we're jumping way ahead of ourselves. Does Milwaukee stand a chance against the Warriors? Todd, what do you think?
I feel like it's like we're talking about LeBron was the best for a few years, and now Giannis. I think that it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the best player versus the best team, and maybe
But
he could swing.
I feel like
he could
this-
swing a couple games. You know, maybe it goes 6 or 7, but like I'm not betting against the Warriors.
Yeah.
None of us are. It's that simple.
I also think
But I feel like this team is better than what
Then that-
LeBron had. As far as
But
like,
it's also their first time here, right?
They're
Like,
also they're a much better coach team because
but experience.
Budenholzer is a fantastic coach. They don't necessarily have the deep playoff experience,
That's my big concern.
but they're hungry. I mean, and these guys, they're not looking ahead. Like all these guys, like Chris Middleton, Giannis, all these other guys are like, listen, we haven't done anything. We haven't
Yeah.
won a playoff series. So to them, they're focused as can be on Detroit right now. So
Sure.
Detroit's going to get slaughtered no matter who shows up.
Maybe the 76ers last year, how they kind of made a little run there without any experience.
But I think they're better set up because they brought in Budenholzer and they made some moves for guys like Mirotic and Ilyasova, Brogdon when he comes back. It's just they surround Giannis with shooters. And Giannis is an amazing defensive player on top of it. Bledsoe's had his best year. Bledsoe's back to being a fantastic defensive point guard. I said, do I think they can beat the Warriors if the Warriors are at full strength? I don't. Do I think that Giannis is enough to put a scare on it and will cover Durant as well as anybody in history?
Yes.
Yes. But I just don't. They just don't have the horses to cover that whole team because, like, yeah, you'll put Bledsoe on Curry, but that will wipe out Bledsoe on the offensive end. You have no one for Clay, and you just have guys like Draymond and Cousins, and now Bogut's 6 fouls, and other people to just throw at Giannis. And he's not. I don't think he's good enough by himself to beat this Warriors team.
No,
Do I think he's good enough to go to the finals? Absolutely. Personally, I don't see this Warriors team losing. I've already seen people picking the Rockets to beat them. I just don't see it.
The Rockets aren't beating them. All right, Orlando, Toronto. I think we already talked about this. I'm still taking Toronto in this series. Who do you got, Dave?
Still Toronto. Until Toronto, if they lose both games at home, then come ask me.
Yeah.
But then that would mean to me that Kawhi is really checked out. But
yeah, and we all got Milwaukee,
Can't say
correct?
Yep.
Milwaukee.
I
all right, Todd,
think-
who you got in Orlando, Toronto?
Well, the team who wins game 1.
Hey,
so take it. Run with it.
Take Orlando.
I think Toronto's going to win.
By
So
the way,
you're taking a 21% chance? Wow.
by the way, Quan,
Good math. Mark.
I think Dwayne Casey has Milwaukee right now.
Probably. I would assume that, too.
I think Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas and John Sally have Milwaukee right now. I think everybody has Milwaukee right now.
Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grill Chat Sports. They got an interview with Bill Laimbeer at the draft party that I was supposed to be at for the Aces. I still don't think I'm ready to interview him. I know we'll get the chance. I'm not ready yet. still got some hate I got to get rid of before I embrace him. Brooklyn and Philly. Brooklyn's up 1-0, and we should have did a show Thursday to be able to do these picks, or we should have did the picks on Monday. But anyways, we're doing them now. Brooklyn's up 1-0.
It wasn't said on Monday.
It
Playoffs
wasn't.
weren't
I
set
know
on
we
Monday.
couldn't even say it. That's why we didn't. This is hard for me.
If
Brooklyn's playing really well.
if Philly had
I'm not sure what Embiid's doing because I'm not sure.
How many
He's out
threes did
today.
he take? Like first half, it was like
That's your
they
other
got
problem.
I don't like it. Like I didn't watch a lot of the 76ers this year.
Philly-
I'm like, why is he taking so many threes?
Here's what I will tell you: he can hit some threes,
but there's so many,
but,
Dave. Some bad
he
shots
takes
too.
a ton of bad shots.
A lot.
Philly so desperately needs a better coach. If Philly had a better coach, I think a lot of their problems go away.
Because they have a
I don't know
lot
if
of
he
good
can
players
fix
on
that
this
in
team.
the next few days.
No, it's too late now. They got to wait till next
Well,
year.
and I think your other tough part is the one guy that showed up is probably their star player that's most likely to leave, which was Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is the guy
Yeah,
in
he
game
came-
1 that flat out showed up.
He did.
On both ends of the floor.
He led that comeback.
Yep.
Listen, he's a jerk.
He's
but-
on the all jerk
but he'll-
team
Oh, he's
Oh,
definitely
definitely.
starting
with
on
ISIS.
that. With ISIS.
Wow.
That's an inside joke. Sorry.
Listen, I am. This one's hard for me. I'm gonna take Brooklyn in the upset.
Wow.
If Embiid's going to stay out, wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
And part of that, I would lay it on the feet of two people. One of them is Brett Brown, and one is Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Because Ben Simmons has to get better. Because the fact that they can just lay off of you, and it's not like Giannis, where even when they lay off of you, it's like, okay, I'll just take a step around you or just jump over you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ben Simmons, he's laying off you, and he's just dribbling out behind the three-point line. It's
Who
like,
are you taking in this series?
not knowing Embiid's health.
And in fact, even when he does come back, you don't know if he's going to be out the next game.
Seeing that he's already missing a game in the playoffs and possibly could have missed the first game, I'm going to take Brooklyn. Because I think without Embiid, that's a big equalizer.
Yeah.
All due respect to Boban.
Todd.
I think 76ers can take it. I don't think Brooklyn's like ready to take that step yet. I think
You're going against your stats, man. You're going against your
Twice.
stats.
I know
Twice.
twice.
You were so adamant about this 79%.
He's a disruptor.
That's it?
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
I thought you had an analysis with that.
Well, I just think that Brooklyn needs more time. It's just like one of those learning years.
they're super well coached and they love playing together. They don't have near as much talent, but I mean, that's a team.
Yeah,
And
it's
Kenny
a
Atkinson did a
it
great
might be a
job this
wake
year.
up call for the 76ers. That loss, I think, going to come back really good.
All right. I will take that. Boston and Indiana. Boston's up 1-0. I like I said, I think Indiana has done so much and they overachieved this year already.
Yeah,
I think
coming over injuries.
I think this is when it comes to an end. They did great.
So commendable. I mean, they kept it a low-scoring game, which is the kind of game they play.
Yeah.
Nate McMillan
They were up too.
Nate McMillan did a great coaching job. They just don't have the horses.
I agree.
I can't see them doing it. all due respect, but that's a 4 to 5 game
And
series.
the Celtics haven't done anything else this year to make me think they're going to go much further either. Like
you didn't talk to Josh.
We always kept waiting for them to happen, and it just didn't seem like it did. But they get this series done, but then I'm off it.
But they got Milwaukee in the next round, right?
Oh, by the way, Joel Embiid is playing tonight.
Oh, he is playing?
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's healthy.
He hasn't
but
played
he's
a lot
playing.
of minutes either. So real quick, is Boston, if they win, they play Milwaukee in the next round, right?
Yeah, Boston would get Milwaukee in the next round.
Which, yeah.
It's going to be a good series. It'll be good games.
It would be.
I don't know if it's a good series, but there'll be some good games.
But listen, even Dave said it might be a 4 or 5 game series in this series. I think it could go 6. I think Indiana can squeak out some, especially if they can't keep the scoring down.
I think Indiana takes their first home game. I can't see giving them much more than that. They don't have like the first, second, or third best player in it, and I think Marcus Smart's injury actually helped the Celtics.
Probably
because they're a team that actually had too many guys who think they should have the ball. So every time somebody's out, it starts crystallizing people's minutes a little bit more and starts making them make more sense.
Yeah. All right, going to the West, Warriors and Clippers. I think we all agree on the Warriors on this one, Todd.
Yes, Warriors.
All right.
No
Just want to
doubt.
make sure because you've been doing the 1-8 or the.
No doubts.
All right, Spurs and Nuggets. I am sticking with the Spurs. I said it before the playoffs started, and I'm sticking with them. Like we said earlier, I just think the experience, the coaching, I think that's a big deal.
Hashtag Mile High Basketball.
Wow.
Those are ugly uniforms.
So are you taking Denver?
Actually, I think Pop is going to get it done. I think this is going to be the upset of the first round.
Which isn't much of an upset.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Upset
a
as
big
far as
upset
numbers.
by record numbers, but
by seeds. Yeah.
that's I was always skeptical of Denver once they hit the playoffs.
No,
all
I
year.
think you hit it earlier that they they have a deep team that are all like a bunch of average guys, but when the playoffs start, that might not be enough to get it done. So, and the Spurs is too much coaching and some experience, and I think they have it. Yeah.
Plus, Pop knows how to, because I think Jokic is more of a killer when he can set up everyone else. But Pop knows enough to be like,
He's not going to be able to let him do
okay,
it.
yeah, he's like, okay, get your points.
Well, they were
But we're
doubling
not
them
gonna-
up a lot.
The game I went to the game in Denver this year, and the Knicks played. I know it's a different level of competition, but
A little bit.
but
Understatement of the year,
I
brought
watched
to you
it, I'm like,
by
man,
terrible
he's
Todd
really
Levy.
a great passer, you know. And
Oh, he's
he
amazing.
He finished with like 16 assists as a center.
He's unbelievable.
And I knew he was good, but like
He's the best big man passer of all
And I
time.
was just like, it was really amazing
All due
to
respect
watch.
to Bill Walton.
So
And Vlade, Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer
Let's
Vlade.
not, let's not get back into that again.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic, in the early part of the season was actually an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
I still think he's top 5.
He should be first team.
Definitely,
All-NBA.
definitely first team. Yeah.
I think he's first team All NBA to me. I don't know. That's honestly my hardest series to pick.
Pick
It
one.
really is.
Pick one. Are you going against Pop? Mike Malone versus Pop?
I think
Mike
Malone
Malone's
did, I
actually
think
good.
Malone did a great job,
like
but
Mike Malone.
but I just don't think I think the Nuggets were a regular season team, and I think Pop will know how to counter them. So I'm gonna go with the Spurs, and I'm almost sure that I'm wrong. I'm almost certain.
Wow.
Even after game 1, I'm pretty sure that I'm wrong, but I think Pop's the greatest
next
coach
week
ever.
we'll see what's up.
Yeah, I got to stick with the Spurs. All right. This next one, Dave, it's going to be hard for you.
No, it's not hard.
You think your team's going to lose to
Yeah,
Portland?
absolutely. Paul George is definitely hurt.
Wow. He needs surgery. It's sad because he had an amazing year.
Especially towards the end of the year.
He's
Dave.
first team All NBA, but ever since he's been hurt,
Yeah.
he is not the same. And I saw people like ripping him. It's like, dude, the dude has one shoulder that's really bad, and the other one's not great either.
Yeah.
It's like he's doing everything he can. He plays on both sides of the floor. Portland was right for the picking, but not without Paul George being healthy, because Paul George is their best shooter. That's the Thunder's biggest problem all season. They don't have 3-point shooting, and he's their best 3-point shooter. And
I think it's a tough matchup too. Like that backcourt You know, like I feel like
but McCollum's been trash most
kind
of
of
the year.
strength
Well, he's
on
been hurt
strength,
a
though,
lot,
you know.
too. this year.
And Russell Westbrook usually cooks Dame Lillard. Like they go at it, and
But I'm saying it's
Russ
like
usually
strength on
gets him.
strength. You know, like I feel like they're guards.
Yeah,
on guards.
I just if Paul George was healthy, I don't think this is even a conversation. But of course, if Paul George was healthy, they'd have a better seed.
Yeah, they would have.
They wouldn't have had the slip.
Well,
that they
it might
did.
have been the same matchup. They would have
Just
had
flipped.
home court.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
that
very
could be
likely.
that's likely the difference, also, right? That extra.
Could
It's,
be,
a
yeah.
it's also a tough place to play.
Yeah, Portland's really.
I think they both
good.
have tough places to play. I would give it to Portland for the home court and the fact that Paul George is clearly hurt. Steven Adams is clearly hurt. Not as hurt as Paul George. And Russell Westbrook has had his worst shooting year. I can't see them getting out of the first round this year. I just can't.
And these are two teams I hate, but I'm actually going against Dave, for Dave, pretty much. And I'm actually taking OKC because I think Russ is going to step up the rest of the series in a way that he needs to, being somebody that's always in MVP talks.
Listen, he goes at Dame Lillard. He's always played well against Dame Lillard. And this was their first loss of the season to Portland.
Yeah, and that's why I think even with the Paul George injury, he's still out there playing, and so he's still a factor. So I am taking OKC. I think they could have won game one. They lost by 5.
Yeah, but they had to come way back to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Oklahoma City in this series. What did Paul George have? Game one, he still had 26.
But it was not
4
on good
for
shooting.
15.
Yeah, it was not on good
Three-pointers.
shooting.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's hard, but I'm picking them. I think these are two very evenly matched teams. But I am going to take OKC. Todd.
Oh, I already said it. Portland.
Okay, my bad.
all good.
I hope you're right. Like I said, I hate picking against OKC. It's just I think Paul George is too hurt.
I'd rather see OKC go further, but I just don't think it's.
But then you'd see by that pick, you were talking about OKC versus the Spurs for the right to probably see the Warriors.
Wow. Next one, Houston. I didn't think they were going to win this bad against Utah in game one, but they destroyed Utah.
They smoked them.
They destroyed them. I actually had picked Utah before the series, off air, so I'm going to stick with that, even though I don't like how game one looked. So I'm sticking with that. I just don't know. This is like the ticking time bomb. You just don't know when it's going to go off, but you know it's about to go off. How long is Chris Paul going to last? Does he last through a series? Does he get hurt in the second round? He's not getting to the Western Conference Finals, so maybe he doesn't get hurt all playoffs.
Maybe, but you still need an awful lot of Harden.
Yeah, and not
You
even
do.
they have some good balanced scoring. I think they had like 6 or 7 guys in double figures, and I just think the Rockets are too much.
And as stupid as this is going to sound, I think you see a little crack in their armor in the post-game press conference when Chris Paul walked off because he wasn't getting questions. Because every question was for James Harden.
But listen, because I kind of want to see Rockets win just so the Warriors-Rockets matchup last year was, to me, a fluke. I think Rockets could have won. I think Warriors just didn't take them the way they needed to in that series. I didn't think I didn't think that they were thinking it was going to be as tough of a series as it was. So I kind of want to see them match up against the Warriors can just destroy them and shut everyone up.
wishful thinking.
It would help a lot.
Yeah, it would help a lot. No, the Spurs have too much firepower. Not the Jazz aren't going to end
You're
this.
talking about Rockets.
Rockets, sorry.
Yeah, so you're taking the Rockets.
I'm taking the Rockets.
Cool. And I think that's it, right? You got any more games?
No, that's got to be everybody.
That's it. Yeah, we got everybody. Yeah, so we'll see. The playoffs are here. Game 2 starts tonight, so we have Philly up right now against Brooklyn. We got the Clippers and Golden State up next. Not a very exciting night of NBA playoffs. This game should be good, but I'm not really I might watch some of the Warriors game, but we already know the outcome.
Yeah, although knowing that Embiid's back might change my pick. But we'll see. I still think they're horribly coached.
All right, let me see. What else we got? We got anything else in sports?
I think we got a lot.
I think that's it. Todd,
I'm
anything
good.
else on
I
your mind?
appreciate you inviting me back and being back. I have a contract for 4 shows a year. So
Yeah, so you got 3 more left.
he said
You're like
that.
Brock
Good job.
Lesnar wrestling.
Where's the belt? No, but it's fun. Excited for. It's a good time of year. A lot of stuff going on. Hockey and baseball's back. We don't really talk about it. It's fine.
We got that coming up
NBA,
in October.
So coming up in October. Draft lottery, some good stuff to look forward to the next few weeks.
Even though we did talk about baseball last Monday.
We did. You cut it off pretty quick though.
Well, we got enough time in for the first 2 weeks. You know, can't
Let's
talk
not-
about it too much.
I'm somewhat with you. Early baseball can be a little rough unless something special is happening.
Yeah, and it almost means. I mean, so we can't talk about something special did happen, and your boy
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis got a hit.
Then he got a
Finally,
homer.
well, was he 0 for 54 before he got a hit?
Going into last season, I think it was 0 for 55.
55, and then he finally got a hit, and then he got a home run today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to him.
Keep cashing
Man,
that 7-year, $160 million
Paid,
check.
bro. Get paid. But all right, we will be back on Thursday night for a special 1-hour edition, playoff edition, to talk about playoffs,
Playoffs?
basketball,
Playoffs?
I'll try to
NBA,
call
hockey.
in
Okay,
if you'll have me.
have Lincoln call in.
He doesn't talk yet.
He doesn't?
No.
Well, I've got to teach him how to say Kobe.
So much Laker talk.
Download the app. Follow us on all social media. We're going to get better. We promise.
We'll keep working on it.